My name's Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. Hopefully you can see me today and that the screen is visible. I shall do my usual waffling until I see some viewers in the room. I can see we've got some eyes in the room. Good morning, Ian, over on our YouTube page. Hope you are well. The numbers, the eyes are going up, and once we start to see the chat coming in, then I know we're all good. Helen Stevens, good morning. Mo, good morning. There we go. Everybody's coming in now. Pull up a chair. Let's get comfy. We're going to have a nice chill out session in the Groovi. Good morning, Jill. So should we start off with our weekly weather report? What's the weather like where you are today? It's rainy. It's quite muggy, but it's rainy. It's not cold. It's trying to break through that sun. And so who knows what the day will bring. I think we've had summer. Summer was been and gone. Good morning, Jayne. It's chucking it down in Ripon. I know it's weird, isn't it? I know the sort of the northern sort of Ireland and Wales, and that were meant to get really bad thunderstorms. Raining with Jayne as well. Yeah, it was raining this morning. It's sort of like just a little sort of drizzle now. So raining in Malden, South London, dry at the moment. Yeah, the sun is trying to break through again, but who knows? Blink and it's changed. So yeah. So it's lovely to have everybody's company again. That should be my all clear from Sue. Thank you, Sue. The lovely Sue is in the room with you this morning. So if you have any questions, I'm sure the lovely Sue or some of our design team members are there to help you. So it stopped raining in Crawley, dampish Bexhill. Yeah, I think sort of down here on the south, it's just damp, isn't it? So yeah, I've got lots to do today, lots to tell you about. If you're all good and you behave, we'll have some sneaky peeks of the one-day special coming up tomorrow. I haven't seen Mr. Ken yet. He's normally the troublemaker, but I haven't said that, no. So there you go. Just seeing all the comments coming in now. So yeah, it's what we've been up to since we last spoke. So the lovely Jayne Telford was back on our screens last week on the Pergamano show on Create and Craft with those lovely nested lace square frames. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it was good to see. I learned from Jayne as well that colouring technique. I want to have a go on that, but I just need to find the time to have a play. But don't need to because Jayne's there to share it all with us, isn't she? So yeah, that was really good because I didn't realise or I hadn't seen that before. So yeah, we every time learn something new, always learning. Yeah, Jayne did fantastic on there. There we go. The lovely Josie's in the room. Wet in the northeast Derbyshire. Yeah, I think we'll just call it a wet and grey, drizzly day. And but we're all right. We're going to stay in the groovy room for an hour or so. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter. It could be doing anything. There's no windows in here. The only reason I know when it is raining because of the roof. You hear it on the roof. So, but yeah. Good morning from Michigan. Good morning, Andrea. Lovely to have your company. Right. So, question from Lynn. I've asked on Groovi Worldwide how to protect cards posted from the rain. Okay, I mean, depending on the size of your cards that you make, some cello bags. You can get some cello bags to pop them in and then pop them in the envelope. I mean, you can't really protect the outside of the envelope, but you can protect your card. So you could either get some cello bags. Maybe if you make small cards to keep the packaging, your Groovi plates come in, or your stamps. Buy some Polly Pockets. You know, like the document ones. I don't know if I've got any here. Like punched down the side that you can use for filing. You can get those really cheaply in sort of like the pound shops if they still exist. And so you could pop it in there, and that'll help keep it dry if there's any damage caused by the wet weather or postman's dropped it in the puddle or or the dogs took it out the letterbox and they got a wet mouth. So there you go. Yeah, so Jayne says she puts her samples in a cello bag. Yeah. So I just catch it up. I was sort of waffling. I didn't see all the other comments. Everybody's coming in this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I see Mr. Ken's in the room. You have to behave today, Ken, if you want a sneaky peek on what's coming up on the One Day Special tomorrow. Ken's always a troublemaker. No, he's not really. He's not. So look at that, just after 10 o'clock, and we have lots of people in the room already. Oh, Andrew, sorry to hear you're in hospital. Glad you can join us. Hope you can sort of just forget what's going on for the next hour or so, and just enjoy everybody's company. So yeah, let's see what we can do. As Barb said, Jessie, sort of getting with our hands is a great distraction. Maybe you've got some Groovi in the hospital with you as a distraction to keep you company. So yeah, and what was it, Barb? The hashtag Made in May. If you check out Barb's blog from yesterday, which is barbaragrayblog.com, I'm sure somebody will put the link up to that. Some of that artwork that Barb and Dave got up to over the weekend. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, hashtag Made in May. And that was definitely made in May. It was made over the weekend. So maybe this counts as made in May, what we're doing here. And it was lovely to see all the comments on there, all the hashtags. So Barb will be doing sort of regular blogs, there'll be giveaways, there'll be competitions, there'll be loads on there. So make sure that you check out Barb's blog. Go back and read last night's, and it'll sort of fill you in of what's going on for the month or the rest of the month of May. So good morning. Oh, we've got lots of people worldwide today. So Glynis is in the room. I miss Glynis. She's obviously flown up to the top there. So right, okay. Let's have a recap on what we've been looking at over the past few weeks. We're on sort of like episode 8 of the lovely Jayne Nestorenko Floral Sampler. And when we launched this, I thought this is a perfect opportunity to sort of learn various different skill sets because they're itsy bitsy little pieces of artwork. And we've been concentrating on the lovely dahlia. We've been looking, we did some white work, we did some shadow embossing. And then last week we ventured into looking at colour and the different ways in which we can colour in our parchment. Now, when you're working with parchment, Barb always describes it as being on like a bus journey. So the first stop on that bus journey is getting the line art, okay, with ease, beautiful line art with ease. And that's what the Groovi plate does. And then you can create beautiful line art with just that and the card's done, if that's as far as you want to go on that bus journey. But we know from experience, and I chuckle because I do know, it's very rare to see a piece of finished artwork that is just a line art. Because it gives you the confidence, you want to maybe learn how to add some colour, add some white work. But if you're not sort of ready for any of those levels yet, then you've got coloured parchment, you've got designer parchment that gives you that instant colour straight away. So there's always sort of choice, I say always, 9 times out of 10, there is a solution available depending on how far you are on that bus journey. And I know many of our friends have sort of recently joined us over the last 12 months and just getting to grips with the system. I know often when I do the TV shows and our friends from home email in, they've just got the starter kit and this is what they've created. And it really does blow me away because that's what it's all about. Getting that starter kit home and opening it up and give it a go. Because you'll get used to the amount of pressure that's required. And in a way, there's no right or wrong. take that beautiful butterfly plate that's in there, or Barb's loving heart, just trace it out. Job's done. It really, really is. So, so for me, that sort of this is a lovely little plate. Maybe you're on that next step that you want to take it a little bit further, and you look at some of the designs and you think, oh, it's too big. So a sampler plate like this is a perfect opportunity to be able to sort of practice at home, because you're only tracing out little bits of artwork. So when we was looking at doing the white work and the shadow embossing, do you remember, we can go back and watch this on previous episodes where we use the ball tools, we use the shader tools that were back in stock, and just building up all those lovely layers. What's that, Ellen? It's warm in sunny Norway. Is that normal? Excuse me. I thought Norway's always cold. So lovely. So we was looking at some white work and some shadow embossing and how we can gradually build it up depending on the size of the tool that we use to trace out our line art. And then we started to have a look at introducing some colour. So this was my little piece that my sort of like sampler. So this has been coloured in with the gel pen. So that's been coloured in on the front. And if I give that a little wiggle, you can, if I come in on this one, if I do that, you can see you've got that lovely shimmer, that metallic finish on the front of that one. Then this one was using the Pergolina pencils, and I used the B5 and the B14, which are the wax-based, with some Dorso oil and a blending pen. This one here was using the Perga colour pens, number 9, with a mix mat and a dry brush to build up the layers. And then finally, I used our Dorso crayons. I used the Lively collection, and I used the purple and navy, scribbled out on a mix mat with some Dorso oil and a blending pen. So there's lots of different options available to you. I mean, for me, I always colour on the back, and because it's my safety net. So when you come to sort of colour on the front, there's just a few things you just need to be aware of. Obviously, stay away from the white lines. But if you do it on a small piece like this, and it does go wrong, then you know why it's gone wrong and how it's gone wrong. So you can keep that as a little reminder. Right, I went wrong because of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then what we then started to look at was I was creating some lovely blends on the back, and we was using the Pergolina B pencils. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll continue with this piece, and then we'll trace out another one, and then we'll decide during the course of the hour which medium we want to go. So we'll have a vote, I think. Okay, so we'll finish off with the pencils. Then if you're good, you might have a sneaky peek for the one-day special, and then we can decide, so you can keep a tally of what option to go for. Are we going to go for the Perga Colour exclusive pens, or are we going to go for the Dorso crayons? Which one should we go to next? You decide amongst yourselves, but obviously share your thoughts. Sue can keep a tally. Sorry, Sue. So let's go pens, crayons. There we go. That's all we need. Pens, crayons. So what's Lorraine saying? Lorraine, I got Tina's layering plate, mate. I've not had a chance to have a play with them as I've been working non-stop, and when I have days off, it's something needs done. So I'm down in Glasgow seeing my boyfriend, so I'm going to have a wee play with them the day while watching. Excellent. Okie dokie. Right. Okay. So I'm going to carry on with my colouring, and I will be keeping you company while we're doing that and explaining what we're doing. And then if you just let Sue know, pens, crayons, which will be the next step. See, this is great having the interaction, because we can go in whichever direction we want to, can't we? Okay, so pop the plate to one side over there. I'm going to come in really close so we can enjoy in more detail what we're going to do. So which way am I going? I'm going to zoom in, so I'll come in nice and slowly. There we go. Ooh, a little bit too fast. Sue's only got 10 fingers, that's fine, but she's got 10 toes, so she can count with those as well. Okay, so last week, let's pop this over the top so we can see. There we go. So I'm working on the back, and we were working with the Pergolina B pencils. So I'm using the yellow, which is a B8, and the red, which is a B11. Okay. Just as a recap, what I did was I put the yellow down first. So I scribbled on first, okay, with the yellow. Then I took my Dorso oil on my spot on sponge with my blending pen and nibs and blended the yellow first. Then I took a tiny little bit of red, as you can see here. Where's my glasses? I can just about see the red. Hang on. Okay. So then I put a tiny, that's better, tiny little bit of red in the tips of each of those petals. And then we started to draw that colour from the tip into the centre to give us that lovely blend of colour. And if I take a piece of white card, you may be able to see it. It will lose the line art, okay, but look, you can definitely see the difference, can't you? Anyone for pens? Crayons are in the lead. Okay, I need a little jar. Jane, I don't go to those type of hotels where you get jam in little jars. They don't do that. The thing is, I would lose the jar. I would lose the jar. I know, don't ask me how, but I would lose it. Okay, so I'm going to get a clean nib for the purpose. Now, because I'm going to try something. I don't know whether it'll work or not. Okay. So last week we blended with the Dorso oil. I mean, the spot on sponge is definitely dry because I don't have one of Jayne's little jam jars. Okay. But I can live with that. And then we added the red on, and then I was trying to dry blend it. Glynis has got loads of jars. You've been staying at posh hotels again, Glynis. And so I tried dry blending it out. Some areas moved better than others. And then I picked up some oil, and then it just took it away, didn't it? So let's see, this has been a week. If I take a nib, let's see if that will still blend out. I don't think it will, because it's completely evaporated now. Okay. Cheryl works at one of those hotels. Super. Okay. So I definitely need some oil. So let's get the fragrance going. Apologies if you can hear the fan. It's quite muggy down here. So I've got the fan on under the table. I should have put my short sleeve shirt on, but hey ho. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of the oil, tiny, 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 tiny bit. And I'm just dabbing into the sponge to remove some of it. When you're at the spa for the retreat, they have jars. Yes, Jayne, but I'm not a guest. Right, okay. Let's see. Now, if I've got too much oil on there, it's just going to lift the colour off, okay? So let's go. Gently tickle. We're tickling the parchment. I think it'll be okay. And I'm turning my work. And I'm just gently, I'm not applying any pressure. I'm just tickling the parchment. Okay. Just tickling the parchment so that the tip of that nib just picks up the red and just brings it into the yellow. And it's definitely, for me, it's a lot easier to turn my artwork. Okay. So we're just going to tickle, blend out those little red sharp, well, not sharp, are they? They're the bright red tips of the dahlia. And we're just going to gradually work our way around. And then when the little red bits start to stop moving, then it just requires a little bit more oil. I could be inundated with jars at the open day. I could sell them though, couldn't I? I could just see people who's coming. Okay, hands up, who's coming to our open days? I'm sure many of our friends in the room are popping along for a day or two. You won't be able to see me. I'll be buried under a pile of jam jars, mini jam jars. Where's Paul? Oh, he's under there behind the pyramid of jars. Sue's ticket number 3. What day are you, Sue? Are you both days, or are you just the Friday or the Saturday? Lynn's coming both days. Karen's going to have a tickle play this afternoon. Okay, Karen. I'm guessing you mean your parchment. Sue's coming both days. Lovely. It's the open days are so. Jayne, Josie may be coming with Jayne. You better be coming, Josie. So yeah, the open days are fantastic. It's lovely to. I mean, I'm rubbish with names. Faces, I recognize faces, but names, I'm rubbish at. So we'll have to make sure that Jayne and Josie have got names on. No, I'm joking. But no, it's always lovely to put faces to names that we chat to, not only here in Groovi Tuesday, but also in the shack with Barb on Mondays and Thursdays. Those hippie chicks were great yesterday, weren't they? Really like those. How all of a sudden they came alive, didn't they? It's a real magical process when you see a pencil and the magic that comes out at the end of the pencil. I remember back in the day with the birds on the wire, and now look at everybody. Fantastic. The development is absolutely amazing. And you can all do it with a little time and patience. Okay. So I've blended in, I think I've got all of them. Put some, go on that on there. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is a suggestion from Jayne last week, I think it was. So now if I take a dry nib, and then where I've drawn that red into the yellow, where they meet, a little bit more pressure, and I'm actually using the side of the nib. I'm not holding it upright to use the point. I'm holding it more at the side to blend where the two colours combine. Okay. Now the other option, which Barb's suggesting, there's two ends to a nib. So you could take the other end, and it's a little bit firmer. And then you can blend those two colours together. For me, I always love doing the yellow and the red to give me that lovely orange glow. I should be a little bit more adventurous really, but I know it works. Safety in numbers, so to speak. Not numbers, but maybe I need to get a little bit more adventurous with my colouring. Okay, but I suppose in a way I know with the pencils that if it didn't look right, then I can take an eraser pencil and rub it all out and start again. So if you're looking to start introducing colour to your parchment work, then for me, my first colouring, I was going to say weapon, it's not a weapon. My first colouring tool would be the pencils, because they are as forgiving as the Groovi plates. The pencils are my safety net when it comes to colour. Okay, but that's just me personally, that's what I find. I mean, that colouring that Jayne did on TV, the painting, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'll have to get Jayne to show me at the open days. So, okay. And if you find that it's a little bit dark, and don't forget it's a flower, isn't it? So flowers have varying different shades. I took some, I've got some lovely roses in my garden, and let's see if I can. I took some pictures last night, and see if I can find them. And just absolutely, I do love roses. So I've got a beautiful orange one that hasn't opened up yet. Lovely pink. The scent on these pink ones are absolutely gorgeous. Then we've got another one. That's a nice one. Really nice. And they're all sort of, I just love roses. And then that one. And then I think that was it. Oh no, one more. Different colour. I was trying to take a photo to focus on the rose and then blur out the background, but I haven't worked that out yet. So, and oh look, see, it worked on that one with Gola. She's my little rose. So it worked on her with putting a soft focus in it, but I couldn't get it to do it. Maybe because it was a little bit windy out. Like if you see, oh, woo. But yeah, I do love a nice rose. Okay, but we're working on a dahlia. It's the same principle, isn't it? They're all lovely flowers. So let's have a look and see how far we've got on this piece here. So if I put my white piece of card underneath, I'm just going to grab a slurp of coffee. You can take the colouring pencils off with the Dorso oil. How can you take the pens off? Good question. Anybody know the answer? No, I think, I'll try it in a minute. I think if they're still, I think you have to wait for them to be completely dry. Sorry, I was looking at, I think you have to wait for them to be, but I think the white eraser pencil can help take some of the colour off. I don't think it will take all of the colour, but we'll give it a go in a minute. I'll give it a go. What was the response? Was it crayons or was it pens? Where are we going next on our colouring journey? Let's see, what was the blurry background works in portrait. Ah, right, okay. So the pencil eraser, the white one, will take it off a bit. Yeah, so that's what I thought, the same as what Jayne's saying, but it still leaves a bit of ink on I suppose it's the pigment, I think, and because it's wet, it's a wet ink as opposed to the dry pencil. Crayons, okay, right, interesting. No, that's good. Yeah, so I think the moisture of the crayons, the moisture of the pens probably soaks a little bit into the parchment, and that's probably why it doesn't remove all of it. But I think, yeah, I think because it's a water-based ink, possibly, I don't know. Depends on the color of pen. Yeah, I know sort of like red and purple are really sort of highly pigmented, strong pigment. So they'll always leave a little bit of a residue, even in the pencils as well. If you use those, it will never take it back completely clear. So, right, so we're going to have a look at the crayons, because I can go back in. It says pointing to the thing that no one can say. I can go back in. We can come back to this and add more color to it as well. Okay. So if we're going to go for the crayons, what we'll do is I'll bring that plate back into play, and I'm just going to trace out another one. Okay, so it won't take long to do. So I'll use my Groovi tabs to hold my parchment in place. Give it a little wipe with the tumble dry sheet. We'll go with the number 1 tool, like we have with everything else so far. I can pick it up. Okay, and then we're just going to trace out another one. So this would be sort of like, this could be your colouring guide, couldn't it? You could write next to it if you get a colour that you're really happy with, and you may possibly you're thinking, oh, forget what colours I've used. I know often when Barb's creating artwork, she'll write on the back what colour ink pad she's used, or what colour pencils, so that if you ever go back to it and you want to replicate that piece of artwork, especially when we're sort of doing demos for TV, and sometimes we have to revisit, or Barb wants to use it for a blog, then it's always useful to have that information written on the back or on the inside of the card. And the lovely design team, when they're prepping demos, especially for me, I get a list of what colours they've used, what papers they've used. So it's very, very helpful, especially when you get assistants like that, because otherwise I'd be guessing. So the lovely ladies, they really do make a big difference. And the lovely Glynis and Josie have prepared some fantastic samples and stages for me to showcase the new one-day special that nobody wants to have a sneaky peek of, because I can't see any comments about the sneaky peek. Chocolate, I saw chocolate. Chocolate, who's got chocolate? Don't start me off, I could do with some chocolate. Okay, right, so see, it doesn't take long, does it? Okay, so there's no response to the one-day special then? No? Okay, we'll carry on. We'll have a look at the crayons then, shall we? I can see people throwing things at the screen now. Right, we have our dahlia. We shall come back to our dahlia and the crayons. Shall we? Want to have a look? Okay, let's pop this to one side. Let's pop this somewhere safe. We are patiently waiting. That's all you're waiting for. You're not doing the Groovi project. You're just waiting to see what's coming up on TV, aren't you? Okay. All right, and just tidy up so I can just find everything when I need it. Just have another slurp of coffee. I'm going to move this coffee out of the way because, right, okay, because it hasn't got the lid on it. Okay, where do I start? Many of our groovy friends may be familiar with some designs from Tina Cox where embroidery meets groovy or groovy meets embroidery. And this was the last, let me zoom out a little bit now. Okay, so this is where these are our little A6 square baby plates, they're little parchlets. I'm probably going to come out a little bit more. Woo, too fast, sorry. That was way too fast. Okay, where you have beautiful designs. Okay, so there's 4 different ones, beautiful designs which are groovy plates in their own right. However, the way in which they've been designed, that if you wanted to, you could incorporate embroidery, stitching onto it. And Barb said this morning when I was talking to her that many of our friends who commented on the blog said how much they enjoyed embroidery. So with this collection of groovy plates, you also get some instructions from Tina and a layout of in red where the stitching is. Okay, and then there's also a larger template. I put it on 3 separate pieces so you can sort of see in a little bit more detail going through the various different areas. Okay, so as I say, many of our friends love doing that on parchment, but we also have many friends that are not into the parchment but love doing embroidery. So keep that in mind. Now let me just show you, I've got 2 pieces here of artwork. One is from Julie Campbell and one is from Glynis. So this is what they can look like when groovy meets embroidery. Okay, using lovely metallic threads. Okay, right, so that's groovy, which, as I say, many of our friends at home are already familiar with. So for our friends that are not into groovy but love the effect of embroidery on card, then this is where the brand new paper stitch range comes into play. Okay, you want to have a look? I'm going to bring it in. So excited. So what we have here is a starter kit. So it's in one of our fantastic Slow Down with Clarity boxes, like so. And inside you have a 1 needle fine. You've got an A5 black super foam. You have a reel of gold and silver thread that will last yonks and yonks and yonks. You've got 5 of the size 12 embroidery needles. And these, brand new, these are lovely little sticker tabs, see-through sticker tabs that you can't, there's that see-through, you can't even see them. Bring it on here. They are see-through so that you can use it to attach your cord or your thread on the back of your card whilst you're working. Okay, these have just recently come in so that we could put this collection together. So that is your starter kit. Okay, so you have that, got your thread, so you're good to go. However, this is a great place also for storing your lovely little card kits. So based on the original 4 parchlets from Tina, look at this, this is beautiful. Packaging designed by, I think it was Jazz and Lisa, designed this. Okay, lovely. Other designs are also available. So there are 4 different design sets. You've got the hearts and swirls, you've got the flowers and hearts, you also have the buttercups and fans, and then finally the butterflies and daisies. Now in each of these kits, okay, I'm only going to open one, so let's sort of do an open with. All made here, printed by us, designed by us. You know, Barb's talking about made in May, the process. Okay, so inside, when I open it up, you have full detailed instructions. And overall, a lot bigger than the actual card topper itself. Now the little card toppers are pre-printed. Okay. They're exactly the same size as the Groovi plate. So the red line shows you your stitching, and then it breaks down the various different sections. So for example, this one here is this one here, this little one here, and these little circles here. Then you've got your flower, so it tells you where to come up, where to go down, where to go rah, rah, rah. It will all become very clear tomorrow evening. So you've got your instructions, okay? Then you get 4 of the lovely toppers. Okay, beautiful 300 GSM cardstock. Okay, printed and cut up by the lovely Lisa. You get 2 sheets of those lovely little sticker tabs. I've got to stop saying lovely. You then get 2 white 5x5 card blanks, 2 5x5 black card blanks, and 4 5x5 envelopes. Okay, so it's a complete kit in a packet. Okay, so if you've got your starter kit, you're good to go. If you've already got some of the parts, then you've got 4 different options to choose from. And I've been working on these. I've got to carry on with the prep, but as I say, the lovely Josie and Glynis have kindly prepared everything for me. And I've got some little twists. I've got so much to share with you. As I was going through it, I could do this, I could do that. And the reason they're white, when I show you the artwork, is so that you can introduce colour to them. Okay. So let me pop this one to one side. I'm going to pop it back in the bag so it's all nice and safe. But if you've got a work in progress, then this is where your slow down with clarity box comes into play, because you can store all of that in there whilst you're working on it. Okay, right, pop this back into its bag, and I'm going to show you some artwork from the design team. You will be amazed. You really will. That's that. So I'm going to take that up to TV with me tomorrow. Pop that to one side. Okay, so let me just stretch and bring this artwork in. So the first piece has been created by Tina, and this is the one that is actually on the front of the packaging. Sort of soft, subtle colours using the lovely gold thread. So I'm going to come in close now so we can really indulge these. Okay, so zoom in. I reckon that's because I've got some larger cards and some smaller cards. Okay. And that gold thread really does give it a little lift. So that one's from Tina. Then we have one from Sheila Metzeler. So you can see how you can use your inks to blend the colour into the background, then add some colour with the pens, the pencils, using different colour threads. Then you can also combine, so that's from Sheila, and this one's from Julie Campbell, and Julie's incorporated a Groovi plate around the outside, and then that as a topper in the middle. Okay. Then moving on to the next design, which is the flowers and hearts. This one has been created by Tina. You've got the lovely blend of colours on there as well. We've got one from the lovely Tina Morris, and she's used some of those BOWOD papers to colour coordinate. But don't they look so different? Changing the colour and then incorporating threads. Tina's used black thread in the heart. She's used silver thread in the flower. Then the next one is from the lovely Jayne Telford. And Jayne has actually introduced, are these called bugle beads? See, look, Jayne's also incorporated some beads. Let me come in on this one. I mean, you can use it on the parchment as well. There we go. Just those lovely little accents. Isn't that gorgeous? So you apply the colour first before you start to do all your stitching. Moving on to the next one. This one's by the lovely Glynis. A little bit of sparkle on there as well. Some threads. Then the next one is from Carol Baker. So Carol has also done stitching. See, the thing is, you don't have to stitch in all the areas if you don't want to. But you could then incorporate your Groovi as well. So it has that versatility of mixing and matching. Then the next one is also from Carol Baker. I love the monochromatic look. So Carol's taken the card topper, coloured in the flowers, and then used the Groovi version. Because it's the same size, it's created layers. Look at that, lovely. Then we move on to the fourth design, and this one is from Glynis. Glynis loves a little bit of bling. Look at that. But this bit here, I just love this particular design. And it's so easy to do. It really, really is. Then we've got one from Jill Askham, using Josie's lovely grids around the outside. So you can still make large cards, small cards, but the kit itself will make 4 complete cards. And you've got your cards in there, and you've got your envelopes as well. Then there's another one here. This one's from Josie. So Josie loves her beads as well. Let me bring this one in on this one. This one in on this one. Little accents and the beads on there. Now, don't think, oh no, I'm no good with a needle and thread. I'm no good with a needle and thread either. However, let me show you this. This is from Debbie McMullen, and she's done all 4 of them. And where's the other one? Oh, the other one's still in the box. All 4 of them, and there is no stitching at all. This has been done with the metallic gel pens. All of this stitching, what's she? Gel pens. There we go. So Debbie has created the effect of stitching with the gel pens. And I know one of the demos I have, I'm going to show you how to do that. So don't think, oh, I'm not into embroidery, I'm not into stitching. These are great, really are great, because all you need are some coloured pens. I think it was Josie that created it for me, and it's using the Perga colour pens because it has those fine nibs on them. Then it's perfect for this. But these 4 here have no stitching whatsoever on them. But they look as if they have. Okay. So there we go. All of that. Whoops, wrong camera. So that is what is being launched tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, which is the Paper Stitch by Clarity range. And it's the first in a series that will be released over the coming year. And also, if you want to join me, I shall be doing a free craft along on Wednesday, the 26th of June at 7 p.m. When? 26th June. What time? 7 p.m. Where? Live on Facebook and the Clarity Stamp YouTube page. So I will take one of the demos. I'm going to go with probably one that comes in the starter kit. So the starter kit contains the toolbox and that lovely heart one as well. And that's what we'll work on during the course of the craft along. And I'll be there to answer any questions. The lovely design team, no doubt, will be in the room as well. And it's great because now what we were able to do was where we have 2 different design teams. We have a Groovi design team, we have a stamp design team, and there is a slight crossover with the like Jayne where they do both. But now what we did was we sent it out to everybody on the design team that enjoyed stitching or not. And to see the art, that's just a small amount of the artwork that I've shared with you. And it's great. And if maybe you've got the plates previously and you think, oh, where have I put those instructions? Let me show you. If you go to our website, okay, let me bring the iPad in. because you can download the let me just find it for you. We'll go on to the overhead. You can download, if you've lost those instructions, where have I put them? So if you've lost these or the instructions for any of the other embroidery plates, then let me show you where you can find them. So if we go on to the overhead, so this is the front page of the Clarity website. Let me turn it this way, it might be better for you. Hang on. Okay, so if we go to the website, alphabet of the month, go down. Make sure you sign up to the newsletter so you keep up to date. Then events, that's where we've got our tickets for our open days and our retreats. Okay, we've also got the calendar. So if we go in the calendar, we can see what's coming up this month. So what have we got coming up? Oh, look, tomorrow we've got a one-day special. On Saturday, we've got Craft TV, Crafting with Clarity. Then, so it's great because you can go in, if I press on one of those, get Groovi with Clarity, 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Okay, but if I go back to the home page, I'll just let that load up like so. And you're thinking, okay, I've got those plates, but I can't remember where I put the instructions, or I've lost them, or I crumpled them up, etc. If you go to inspiration, I'm just going to make it, oh, hang on, what did I press? Go to inspiration, then it drops down and you've got templates and downloads. Click on there. Okay, and you'll find a lot of some of the literature that we send out with the products. So if you then scroll down, there we go, you've got how to sew a card at the spine. Then we've got Tina's embroidery groovy plates. So you've got the everyday ones, you've got the Christmas embroidery plates, you've got the floral embroidery parchlets, which we've just been looking at, the petal and teardrop, you've got the snow family template, you've got patterns of the overlay dies, you've even got the It's a Wrap inspiration sheet. So if you've got those and you got those out the cupboard recently, I thought, goodness me, where was that inspiration sheet? They're all here on the website. So if I go back up to the floral embroidery parchlet, click download, and then, whoops, let me see if I can make that small. We go through, so you've got some inspiration with the artwork, and then you've got your, now I will explain this on TV, where it's got the little dots, there's a really easy way of me explaining that, and I'll do it on TV, and I'll do it again next week if you miss the TV. I know we're running out of time at the moment. And what I need to do is write it on a piece of paper just to explain the process. Okay, so you can go down, you can save these to your computer so you don't lose them. Oops, keeps going down. Got the plate number and it's got your instructions there. Okay, but I'll guide you all through that on tomorrow over the course of the 4 hours, because it's the same for the Groovi as it is for this paper stitch collection. Okay, so that was just to give you a little reminder, maybe if you, oh, I've got those plates, or oh, I'm not sure, etc, etc. So they are available on the website that you can download. If you're unable to do that, you can always give Sue a call and then she can pop a copy in with your next order. Not a problem at all. Okay, right, or when you place your next order, if you put in the comments, lost my embroidery instructions, and then Sue will go back and then sort that out for you, and we'll add it in with your next order. Okay. Whew. I'm going to move that off of there because I want my coffee now. So let me carefully pop that over there. So yes, Paper Stitch by Clarity. Very excited on that. Right, coffee. Oh. Okay. And breathe. Okay. Oh, I've got another card there. Right. Got to make sure I put all that back in the box to take with me up to TV tomorrow. Okay. So was that a nice sneaky peek? Did you enjoy it? What else have we got on the list? So one day special tomorrow at 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and then on Thursday at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Then Thursday evening, you're back in the shack with your hippie chicky chews. That nearly came out wrong. With your hippie chicks. Goodness me. With your hippie chicks at 7 o'clock with Barb in the shack. Then on Saturday, the lovely Deborah Wheeler is back on your screens at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock with some brand new stamps. Yeah, really sort of retro designs. Yeah, really, really nice. There's so much artwork because I've got to take all that up with me and leave it up there for Deborah on Saturday. So TV tomorrow, TV Thursday, Shack Thursday night, TV on Sunday. Don't forget to keep an eye on Barb's blog, Clarity Matters. Barbara Gray, I'll just stop and rewind, shall I? BarbaraGrayBlog.com. Make sure you check out last night's blog, which is #MadeInMay. Keep an eye on the blog over for the rest of May. Also check out the Clarity Matters blog that Gracie does on a Saturday and Sunday. There's a step-by-step tutorial every Sunday. So there's always lots out there to keep you occupied. Groovi Worldwide, Clarity Worldwide, Pergamano Worldwide, it's all there. And it's such a safe and lovely place, as Barb was saying yesterday. And no question is ever a silly question. If you don't know the answer, don't be afraid to ask, because it's possible that somebody else out there is a little bit shy and doesn't want to seem, oh, that's a silly question. So if you don't know, then there will definitely be someone there that can either help or point you in the right direction. So you know what? It's all free. You can go back and you can watch all of the Shack episodes. You can go back and watch all of the Groovi Tuesday episodes. So if you're fairly new to Clarity and all things groovy and stampy and inky and stencily and dyes and whatever, there's so much information out there. Okay, right, that went on a little bit longer than but I mean, it just shows that there is so much there. Never be afraid to ask. Yeah, okay, right, should we go back to our dahlias, and we're going to have a look. It'll be very well, no, we've still got some time to do this. Okay, so stop saying so. I'm going to take my mix mats, and we now have two options. So we've got two sets of Dorso crayons. We have the natural colours, so you've got lovely, as they say on the packet, natural colours. And then we have our lively colours, lovely yellows, brights, really vibrant. So I'm going to stop saying so. Let's have a look. Should we go with see, I could go direct with the orange and then add some red in, or I can go with the yellow and add some red in like I did with the pencils. Should we give that a go? Shall we? What I'm going to do first, okay, I've got my two little crayons there. I've got choices. I'm going to go, it's not the fast way. I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm taking, a tissue is preferred rather than kitchen towel, because kitchen towel's got some texture to it, but it will still do the job. So I'm just keep folding it, folding it, and folding it until I get sort of like a point. Okay, like a mini little icing bag, piping bag for your icing sugar. And then I'm going to take some Dorso oil, apply it to my spot on sponge rather than direct onto the tissue, because the tissue will just go, it'll just soak it up. put some on there, and then all I'm going to do is wipe the whole of the dahlia with the dorsal oil. Okay. Now, my method, I'm not saying it's right, but it's what I'm going to do. Remember how with the pencils, we put the yellow down first and we had more control, didn't we? Because they're pencils. With the yellow, I'm just going to scribble all over, like so. Okay. Doesn't matter that I've gone outside the lines. So now you've got choices. You can take a tissue and blend it in. You can take your blending pen with a dry nib. Just show you. Put my glasses on again. And then see how it's sort of blending the crayon in. So you could do that, like so. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that a lot more clearly. Let me zoom in. Really coming in really close. Okay, so let's have a look. So I can take my dry blending nib, but because I put a layer of dorsal oil down, then by using the nib, it gives me a little bit more control. I mean, I've gone out the lines, but it doesn't matter, does it? So all I'm going to do now, I can use the nib to do this, like so. Or I can use Jayne's technique and use my finger, like so. And all I'm doing now, because I put the dorsal oil down first, it's sort of, I mean, it's not, the parchment isn't wet. The dorsal oil has created a layer, but it has evaporated. Okay. So I'm going to take my finger. You can use any finger you wish, whichever you feel more comfortable with. Like so. Gives it a nice sort of halo, doesn't it? Then I'm going to take what's on the tissue just to clean my finger. And what I can now do, now that I've done that, I've got choices. If I want to build up the intensity of that yellow, then I can go back in again, leave it a little bit, leave it for about 10-15 minutes. Let's see if I do half of it, see if what difference it makes. Go with my finger again. Yeah, now, if I remember rightly, Jayne said you sort of need to leave it about 10-20 minutes, and then you can go in and the oil will have completely evaporated and you can build up the depth. Although I don't think it has, but let's have a looky, shall we? Yeah, it's a little bit brighter on that side, but I know from what Jayne has said in the past, let it put it to one side for about 10 minutes, go and put the kettle on, come back, and then you can go in and then sort of build up the depth of that color. But what I'm going to do now is I've got choices. I can take an eraser pencil and I can tidy up my dahlia, or I can take a blending nib, load it up with dorsal oil, and then erase what I don't want. But what I'm going to do, just for speed, so I've got the white end. I mean, I've got this is just a white eraser pencil. Have a brew, says Jayne. I thought that was what you said before. So now, top tip, don't brush it with your hands because the heat from your hands will just smear it. Don't blow it because you're going to spit on it. So take a brush and brush away the debris. Okay. So we're now, so what we've done at this point is we've repeated the process where we did with the yellow in the pencil, but we've just done it with the Dorso crayons. Okay, we'll just grab a brush. Whoop. And brush away. And then go in. I mean, I was a little bit extreme with my coverage, but it was just to show that at this point, you don't need to be that careful when you're using the Dorso crayons. Okay. So let's take off all the colour around the outside. And then I think, what will, oh, goodness me, is that the time? Next week, we'll introduce some red. And that would definitely have rested long enough that maybe we could put another layer of yellow on if we wanted to. But if I was going to leave it like I am, I'm going to leave it for a week, I would definitely remove this outer layer now rather than Jayne, you don't want to imagine what I just thought when you said that, Jayne. But it definitely brought a smile to my face. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to risk leaving that on the outside for a week, just in case it didn't come off. Okay. It probably would, but you know what, best laid plans and all that. And all that. Okay. So brush. Goes everywhere. Just like Jayne said. Whoop, turn it over. And if I put a white piece, see, it's still got that yellow halo around it. So then what I'm going to do, so that's good to know. I can see it now. So if I take a blending pen, a clean nib, let's see what this does. And I put some Dorso oil on my sponge, soak the nib. So what I'm doing now, I'm using the Dorso oil to remove the rest of that hue, that yellow hue. And if I take a tissue, a clean tissue, and then just blot it like so, that's definitely helped to remove that glow around the outside. Okay, so next week we'll continue with our crayons. I was surprised that the crayons were more popular than pens, but we will come to the pens. So don't worry if you think, oh, I haven't got the crayons, but I've got the pens. Then you just have to come back another week, won't you? So as always, thank you to the lovely Sue for her help and the fantastic design team. I hope you can join me tomorrow for the brand new launch of the Paper Stitch range by Clarity on Create and Craft. Barb's back in the shack with her hippie, I can't say, hippie chick on Thursday at 7 p.m. And then the lovely Deborah Wheeler will be gracing your screens again on Saturday at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. I'm going to go and have another coffee and a lie down in a dark room for 5 minutes. So as always, thank you for your company, and I'll see you again next week. Take care now. Bye-bye.